Hello again. Welcome to part 2 of Ani Studios' The Wedding Game Breakdown. In this video, we will continue by showing the menus in the Armog room. The first thing to do is pick a date for your wedding. If you play an LA map, you'd be safe to choose a colder season, as I once had my bride melt halfway to the altar in a mid-July scenario. Once you have the date sorted out, you pick a location and venue. LA is huge, so if you want a big turnout, try to stay within the limits of your city, as people hate to travel. Well, unless you throw in a bunch of lap dancers, which once used to perform in cabarets only, but are now moving their way into wedding arenas thanks to people's obsession of amusing their guests. The map of LA offers an insane amount of banquets and ballrooms, each coming with their respective cons and pros, but I personally prioritize them based on food quality and charming interior design. I suggest opting for an Armenian venue, as they have tons of options for appetizers, dinners, desserts, and beverages. And although covering the table with stuff will bump up your social status, it will impact your wealth drastically, undermining your mental as a result. So think smart, get a decent menu, and avoid showing off. Once you got the venue sorted out, pick a ceremony type and a location that fits your personality. Lots of people nowadays play humanist or civil ceremonies at the beach or in the heart of nature. It's beautiful, scenic, and cheap, but at the end of the day, you gotta go with the religious ceremony, mostly because that's what Armenian parents want. And aren't we all playing this game for the sake of our parents?
I'm engaged, I'm getting married.
Now, a religious ceremony requires you to choose a church, and although a church is a house of God, it still doesn't come free. The good news is that you can always bargain to cut a better deal for yourself. For example, some churches offer a with AC, without AC policy, which allow players to pay less if they keep air conditioning off during ceremony. There are also options between actual choir singing versus CD player, which allow you to save on the costs and let the sermons run through a stereo. In addition, some churches assign a priest to marry you. Generally, the basic package gets you a priest and a clerk, but you can always upgrade to 2 clerks or even 3 with 1 extra bishop. Toss a couple of thousand and you'll probably get Catholicos himself if that's what makes you happy. Again, I go with a no show-off policy here. You know why? Because if the strength of my marriage depends on the number of the religious figures or their degrees, then I should just break the bank and have the Pope himself marry me. However, instead of that, if you are good in strategy games, you'll be safe to invite as many rich guests as you can. As the rule of thumb says, each positive RSVP means more cash, and as we proceed, you will realize the significance of those numbers in your credit line. The last item on the location menu that requires your attention is where to take photos at. LA has a huge list of picturesque parks and locations, each with its own price tag for permits. So at the end of the day, it's a trade-off between look, price, and convenience. I personally will go with Caltech campus, not only because it's beautiful, but also because it's simply my way of financing space expansion programs. Okay guys, in my next video I'll discuss picking the characters, why a best man is important, and all the sexy options you have to choose your bride from. Subscribe to this channel and make sure to share your wisdom and comment your strategy when choosing locations in the game of wedding.